America is an evil place. It is a land of murderers, thieves, whores, homosexuals, and all manner of evildoers. We live in a society that is full of lies, deceit, and void of righteousness. No one and nothing that is praised and admired in this place is of God. Yet every year on the third Monday in the month of January, America remembers Martin Luther King Jr., a man praised and admired around the world for being the leading figure in the black civil rights movement of the 1960s. America tells us to remember MLK for standing against oppression and improving race relations between whites and minorities in this country. But in reality, his legacy is far more devastating than what is discussed in the mainstream. In the Bible, in Jeremiah chapter 23 and 25, it says, I have read what the prophet said, that prophesy lies in my name, saying, I have dreamed, I have dreamed. Through the prophet Jeremiah, the Most High warned so called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, the Israelites of the Bible, about false prophets speaking of a dream. I have a dream were the words of MLK. Concerning the Most High Christ and the children of Israel, Martin Luther King Jr. was a false prophet. Speaking as a man of God, MLK lied and deceived Israelites into believing that the love of our oppressor was the way to achieve peace in America. With his many speeches, organized marches, sit-ins, and peaceful protests, countless numbers of Israelites were put in harm's way in the name of following the dream of a false prophet. In the book of Ecclesiasticus, or Sirach in the Apocrypha, chapter 34, verse 1, it says, the hopes of a man void of understanding are vain and false, and dreams lift up fools. Whoso regardeth dreams is like him that catcheth at a shadow and follows after the wind. Men that do not understand the Most High put their hopes in things that are untrue and mean nothing. Only a fool believes that what he sees when he is asleep is reality. Following after a dream is like trying to catch a shadow or chasing after the wind. For almost 60 years, our people have chased after MLK's dream, and none of it is yet to be realized. In nearly 60 years since the civil rights movement, the economic divide, educational standards, prison population statistics, and mortality rates between blacks and whites is disparaging. The white man's propaganda has some of us still believing that if we follow in the footsteps of MLK and love white people with all our hearts, that there will one day be a positive outcome. This idea is foolishness, and we should have waken up from this long, long ago. In the Bible, in Jeremiah, the 23rd chapter, verse 32, it says, behold, I am against them that prophesy false dreams, saith the Lord, and do tell them, and cause my people to err by their lies and by their likeness. Yet I sent them not, nor commanded them. Therefore they shall not profit this people at all, saith the Lord. The Most High is against false teachers that lie to his people and cause them to live in error by lightening the requirements of righteousness. The Most High has not sent these people, and it is why they do not benefit us. Martin Luther King Jr. was not a prophet of God, neither was he sent by the Most High to lead our people. He was a puppet for the so-called white man's agenda to deunify us as a people. Just simply ask yourself, what has following MLK profited us? Contrary to what America's propaganda would have you believe, Israelites in the Americas and West Indian Islands were stronger economically before the civil rights movement. We had our own schools, which produced more doctors, engineers, lawyers, and tradesmen per capita than we do today. In our own neighborhoods and communities, we had independently owned black businesses which thrived and prospered from our support. Today, Israelites that are successful and prosperous don't invest in their own communities anymore. They get rich and take their money to the suburbs, to the gated neighborhoods, and spend their money supporting and strengthening the white man's economy. In Luke, the 16th chapter, verse 15, it says, and he said unto them, ye are they which justify yourselves before men, but God knows your hearts. For that which is highly esteemed among men is abomination in the sight of God. The king of Israel, a black man named Yahushua Hamashiach, who the world calls Jesus Christ, spoke against the religious leaders of his time. Just like MLK, they were men who only sought to be accepted by men. Christ warned them that the Most High knew their hearts, and that those who were lifted up or praised among men were those who were seen as wicked and disgusting by the Most High. There's a reason why the Most High had Martin Luther King Jr. put to death. The so-called dream that MLK pushed on our people was born out of his insatiable lust for white women. MLK spoke openly about his childhood growing up in the South and how it hurt him not to be able to openly date white women he was attracted to in college. If MLK was a man of the Most High in Christ, then he would have known the wickedness of loving white women and teaching our people to join the white man. Martin Luther King Jr. was a traitor, a liar, and sellout to the children of Israel. He was the man most influential in the pacifism and weakening of the Black, Hispanic, Western Native Indian against our enemies and oppressors. He is hailed and praised today because for the so-called white man in America, he represents what they want all of us to become. As the Most High commanded and our King Yahushua HaMashiach taught, we must separate from these other nations. Stop buying into the lies and dreams of wicked men like Martin Luther King Jr. and come back to the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. The only man that should be praised and lifted up for all that he sacrificed in the name of raising up our people is Yahushua HaMashiach, who the world calls Jesus Christ. Now is the time for us to come together, get back to loving, supporting, and strengthening one another in the spirit of brotherhood and righteousness that only exists in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. I am Priest and Captain Soccer Ward down here in Memphis, Tennessee. Since 1969, the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge has been teaching so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians the truth according to the Bible. What is the truth? The truth is that so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians descend from the greatest people that have ever walked the face of the earth. The Bible identifies us as the lost 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. And in the year 2026, there's nothing more important than for God's chosen people to learn the truth of who we are, where we come from, and what our purpose is on this earth. ISUPK.com is the website. Tap in with